And we're back in EU4 to finish our Ayutaya game with only two countries left to conquer, Diviet and Bengal. Also, I just realized that the mouse was never there during episode 1 and this one, so sorry about that, but it's not really a big deal since it's EU4. It's a setting during recording, so I will take off next time I record. Next video will probably have the same thing because I did record it without checking it. Hope it's not that big of a deal for y'all. We ended off last time by finishing off some Burma miners, and now we gotta wait for a bit because we have a bunch of rebels coming. And while I'm chilling for rebels, I also start annexing my vassal Mongfuan. And I was looking at both the Diviet or Bengal War, and the best one would definitely be Bengal, because I can call in Jaunpur. And also, I don't necessarily want to fight the Ming right now, so Diviet is a no-go for now. By the way, I am only allied to the Ming and not their tributary because I became a great power, so I couldn't be a tributary. But it has been a few years, so I am ready to fight Bengal. Number 1 of this war, I knew Jaunpur was gonna have his teeth kicked in because he has Malwa, Delhi, and Bengal surrounding him. And number 2, I only needed 6 provinces to get the achievement, which means I didn't want to take more because of 2 reasons. Number 1, I don't need more for the achievement. And number 2, I didn't want to take too much dev because I wanted to go out of the Great Powers list so that way I can become a tributary again with Ming. And by checking the war score, it's only 50 war score, which means if I occupy a few forts, I don't even need to go to Malwa, and I should be able to piece them out. And as expected, the war went relatively smooth for me, and not as much for Jaunpur. I didn't want them to suffer, they were a good ally, doing nothing but chilling. So I wanted to help them and went in and helped, but AI got out AI, so as soon as I started to help, they decided to just peace out. Unfortunate, but it's fine. Now I should have goodish war score enough. That's the sentence, I will stick with it. So yes, I was right. I have enough war score and I win. The only one left is Diviet. And Khmer, but he's my vassal, he doesn't count. Speaking of, Diviet is the main tributary still, which means I need to find a way to either become their tributary again by ending my great power status, or I destroy the Ming, which is easier said than done. I know the Ming are relatively weak when they have lower mandate, and I should be able to destroy them if I have enough guys, but considering it's still the Ming, they still have 75,000 men, I decided to go with option A, trying to take out my tributary status. Which, considering I don't have colonialism, the institution, and I am not deving for it, it shouldn't take long before the Great Powers go back in Great Powers list from taking the institution. While I'm chilling around, I start annexing Khmer. I also did get a disaster, which means I am currently dealing with a lot of rebels and it's annoying. And after a bit, I do get the pop-up. I was right that I'm losing my great power status from England, because I don't have the institution, as I said. And after a while, I finally get rid of my disaster. A few seconds later, Khmer has been annexed, and I no longer have any vassals. I now finally lose my great power status, and a few seconds later, I become a tributary of the Ming. And with that, I prepare to declare war on Diviet, which I cannot do because I don't have a CB. Shit, I need to make one. One claim later, I finally declare on Diviet. Which you would expect me to win the war pretty quickly, but there is only a single peanut M&M in my head, so not much of a brain. And I lose by the first battle of the war. Great. I need to retreat from the north and finally come back. So it took me an entire year to just come back to where I was in the north. Great. Meanwhile, the south fort is just still there. It is taking so long to siege. While I'm sieging the forts, I check the war score stuff and what will I take. And I realize I don't have enough war score to take everything in one war, so it will take 2. Yippee! So that means I will gain back great power status and be out of tributary again. The Daviet will still be tributary, which means I'll be stuck to fight the Ming, probably. Great. But eventually I finally win the war, because, again, it should have been a very easy war. But I take most of the stuff to make sure it's gonna be a final war. And the reason I don't have enough admin to core everything is because I took the next tech for the next idea set, and I decided to take a military one. Even though I already have one, I just wanted to go military in case I have to fight the Ming. And with that, I had to again chill for a bit and mostly wait for the truce for Daviet to run out, which takes a while since I took a lot of stuff. And after coming back from a break, because this is day 2 of recording, I thought about truce breaking Daviet, but by looking at the AE, I didn't want the Ming to be in the coalition and them destroying me, so I decided to just not. Because I also need to core the stuff, so anyways I have to wait for cores. So I decided to do just that and wait for cores and the truce. Oh, I love the sound of 67,000 nobles rebels trying to knock on my door. During the coring process, I came back as a direct power because I got a lot of stuff, so I finally re-allied the Ming to make sure they at least have a truce with me so they don't attack me instantly. After a bit, I finally start coring the rest of the provinces. Great power-wise, I am still 8th. I think England is beneath me. And it would be way easier for me to destroy Daviet without destroying the Ming, but right now it does seem like they have a lot of rebels, and they are very low on army, which means I could be able to kill them. I still have to wait for my truce though, so we'll see when that happens. As I was recording, I had 2 plans in mind. Number 1 is just waiting for the Ming to be so much into rebels that I can just declare war on Daviet and them not protect them, which could happen pretty easily. Plan number 2 was ally Japan and go against the Ming with Japan, which could also potentially be a good idea considering, as you see, there's a lot of rebels. As I was looking to Japan, trying to make them like me more, the pop-up of the Ming breaking their alliance with me joined in. This is because I apparently dropped out of Great Power Place without really realizing it, so they did break their alliance and almost immediately sent a tributary status to me. So I accepted it, and in a few years, when the truce is out, I will go against Daviet without really worrying against the Ming. I know, kind of anticlimactic, but it's still fine. And the truce expired a bit ago, so I declare war. And this time, it should have been a very easy war, and it was a very easy war. I win the war in a year. However, the EU4 gods hate me, and it costs too much war score. By about 12%, which is pretty high. I eventually remembered that I am over governing capacity, which means I have low admin efficiency, which means it costs more. So I do use my governing progress to bump it up, but it is still 3% too much, which is very, very annoying. I was sure there was something about hiring devastation that lowers the cost, but it's not true. The only thing it does is make the Ming their mandate lower, which does slightly lower the cost, but it doesn't help at all. So I eventually gave up and did a half-ass peace deal with a lowish truce so that way I can full annex them relatively quickly. Also, the reason I didn't take more than one province other than for truce timer was mainly because of not wanting to become a great power again, to make sure that the Ming doesn't destroy my tributary state and try to kill me. Which, by the way, I am 6 dev from being there. Which means Mamluks, please don't get killed by the Ottomans, please. And they did get killed by the Ottomans, which means I need to re-ally the Ming, which thankfully they accept. Which means if they break my alliance, I will at least have a big truce so I can destroy the Daviet, and I should have time to core it. And apparently I was wrong, because I am the one that surpassed them and not the opposite. Which means the Mamluks are still fine, they didn't get killed by the Ottomans. I just pointed fingers for no reason. Also, I haven't been looking past India for a while. Persia's a thing. Nice. And big Hisan Kaifa, holy. During the waiting period, I also decided to make claims on everything that would cost less, which I couldn't have done during the war, since it was at war. You can't do that. But I was making claims, slowly but surely. Not important, but I started getting the great project, because I have a lot of money. So yeah. Yippee! But I don't have admin to core all the states I've done. I know I don't need for them to be states, and the only thing it does is higher my governing capacity, which means I will probably have the exact same problem I had last war, but I chose to ignore it and hope that the fact I will claim every single province be enough. Also, the musical chair of great powers is continuing to arise, and the Mamluks have surpassed me. That's great, thank you Mamluks. I might become a tributary again, and that would be cool. While I was chilling, waiting for the truce to run out, I got a call to arms against the Shun from the Ming. I decided to accept it because I didn't want the alliance to go out because I thought Ming are a great power. And a few seconds later, while I was checking, oh, Dai Viet is no longer tributary, the Ming decided to start their Mingplosion. And the Mingplosion happened. And since I am a great ally to the Ming, I decided to completely ignore the Shun, wait for the truce with Dai Viet to run out, and deck on them. Which went exactly as you would expect from a very strong Ayutaya against a very weak Dai Viet. They just died. That's it, they just died. And with this, that was pretty much the end. I just fully annexed them, which was enough war score because of all my claim, got their money, accepted. And with this, I didn't have the admin to core everything. A few months later, I had enough admin to core everything. I had thought about this one for a bit, and I decided to take out influence ideas and go for exploration. The reason being, I wanted to get the achievement Land of the Eastern Jade, which I already had. I got it 3 years ago. Oops. But a few years later, I finally cored everything and got the achievement. I thought about continuing this campaign, decided to not. The achievement was my goal, and I got the achievement. I could continue Great China and Indonesia, but nah, it's fine. But for this campaign, I would say that the true winner is Hisin Kaifa, without a doubt. They have been standing since 1444, and they have even expanded by quite a lot, so good job. So this is it for this Ayutaya playthrough. As I said, I could have went for the Land of the Eastern Jade, but I already got it, and I don't think it would be really good content, just colonizing to get to America and that's it. So I decided to just stop it there. And for the next one, it will be again a EU4 video with, I will not say which one, but it is another achievement one that should probably be another 2 episodes. But yeah, I hope you liked it, and see you on the next one.